for all of you parents out there or people that work with young ones, I'm going to give you some of my best parenting tips and advice I've learned over 15 years of having children. So I have a 15-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old son. And when I had my daughter, it was at the height of my trauma. She's actually the one that motivated me to get help, because when she was born, as I wish or I hope more women or people know this, the lack of sleep and all the surging hormones really triggers what's unresolved in the body and mind. And so when I was pregnant with her, it started, and I was like, I didn't have the wisdom or the tools that I do now. So this is 16 years ago. And I remember feeling really bad, and she's in my womb. So immediately, intuitively, I started to talk to her, and I said, you are separate from me. I remember with all my will, almost like an energetic shield, saying, I'm going through something. I don't understand why I feel so bad. I do now. But I don't want you to take this on. And then when she was born, it got worse and worse and worse. And that's finally when I had my breaking aha moment that I've talked about before, where I said, I will not live this way and I will not kill myself, because I was having overthinking. I was having very dark thoughts and this surge of, I don't even know how to describe it, almost like evil darkness. People, I guess, called anxiety or panic attacks, would go through my solar plexus and up. It was mind-blowing. And I want to honor all of you out there. There is such thing as pain and evil and darkness. It's just turning on the light really does make it go away. When we have the light of wisdom and we start to use the tools, the dark cannot survive. Sometimes it's very fast for people. Sometimes it takes longer. Don't worry about that. So for me, it was a journey. It was fast and slow. It was both, and I'll explain. So when I had my daughter Annabelle, and I was just getting worse, I lost a lot of weight. I'd been happy before in life, and I knew something was seriously wrong. So I started Googling and looking things up and making calls and seeing different therapists. And boom, my journey started, and it led me to what regulating the nervous system is. A lot of the work I do now, but back to parenting. Number one, the first thing I did was completely do me. And why that is so important is it's so easy for us as parents, right, to make it about our kids and their behaviors. But if you can take a moment, yes, every soul has their own thing going on and there's a personality, absolutely. But also just know that the better you are, the better your family and your children are, period. And what I mean by that is, if somebody in your family is going through something, if you're in a good state, you're regulated, you're doing your work, you're doing your connection, you're going to be less triggered and affected by that. Because if everybody's pain bodies and egos and all of us are triggered in a family, we're going to create a lot of chaos and feed off each other. So as many people in the family can do their own work and connect, it's going to offset when our kids go through their experiences, and as they grow, right? They have their own journey. But the more regulated a mom and dad are, and what is the mom and dad's relationship based on? Is it based on love, respect, support? Kids are a reflection of what their mom and dad's relationship is, whether the parents are together or not. And so I've been through a divorce. I raised my daughter by myself for about 6 years, because when she was 18 months old, I had done so much work on myself. From the time she was born to when she was 18 months, I was like, oh my gosh, I am a different person now. And I had to leave her dad. I said, I'm so sorry. I was in the freeze when I married you. This isn't right. And it was awful, but it was the best thing for all of us. He's in a better place with somebody else. I'm in a better place. Our daughter is in a better place. Because a lot of parents stay together for the kid. I disagree with that. You're teaching your kid what not to do. Does that make sense? So if I stayed with Annabelle's dad, and our relationship was X, Y, and Z, which is not what I wanted. That wasn't my standard. She would then attract that kind of relationship in her life. So what I said to myself, as long as I don't know what her dad's spiritual path is or what he's really doing, it's definitely different than mine. But I said to myself with children, as long, I didn't say this is the download I got, or what I was learning and hearing and intuitively doing, which wasn't me. It was consciousness, God, source guiding me, because I was open. I wanted help. You have to ask for it. I asked, I prayed, I meditated, and I heard, as long as one parent's doing the work, the kid will gradually gravitate. There it is, gravitate towards the light. So whenever I work with divorced couples and one parent is on a path and the other isn't, or one's in a good light place doing the work and one's in a dark place, I always say, don't worry. The soul of your child will know light and dark. So keeping the light, just keeping the light. Don't go down to the level of the other partner that's in the dark. Don't give them your anger and frustration. Have your boundaries. Stay in your light. So that is just to me, that is how I started to learn to parent, is also to give my kids what I didn't get growing up. So my parents were very into spiritual stuff, but also very happy and making everything okay, which was wonderful. However, there was an element of truth and pain that was too hard for them to feel, to show us kids, and other generations just weren't as real. Older generations weren't as real with children. A lot of people held, my grandparents and, the multi-generational trauma, people held things in more and were stoic, or everything's okay. And so I remember my first moment of practicing this. Annabelle was 3, so her dad and I had been split for a few years. And I got off the phone with him and I was a mess. It was not a good conversation. I felt all this anxiety, all this pain and fear. And she walked in the room. She's like, "Mommy." And I'm like, okay, here's my moment. Here's a breaking moment. Do I hide it or do I share? Boom. I heard, you be real. You share. So I put her up on my lap and I said, "Mommy is hurting. I just got off the phone with Daddy. I'm sad. I'm scared." And I started to cry. And she held my face and said, "Oh, Mommy," and starts laughing and says, "Daddy can be so mean." And we both crack up together. My emotional release turned to laughter. My whole nervous system regulated. And here's my theory. If I hit it, she'll feel the anxiety and tension and energy in the room and take it on. And now she starts to live a life of an anxious adult when she grows up. So by being real, I learned, always tell kids your truth. That's my other point with parenting. It doesn't mean you have to tell them everything. I didn't say, "Oh, your dad's an a-hole," or "he bullies me," or whatever I wanted, whatever it was. I learned to talk in I feel scared. I didn't like the way that conversation went. I'm sad. I'm scared. I'm anxious. That did not feel good to me. I made it about me. She understood. We regulated. I hope that makes sense. It's a great example. And then I could carry on being a good regulated parent, not all, I have a lot of energy as it is, as you know. So those parenting tips were my journey to realize, oh, this is working. This is how I want to raise my daughter. I like how she's turning out. And then when she has moments, when she feels things, to hold the space for her, like, "I can see you're upset right now. What do you need?" Don't just try to distract or make everything okay, but find the outlet for her, because as she went back and forth between both households, she saw two different and felt two different energies, and she'd come home to me very frustrated at times. And so I would, instead of just trying to distract her or make everything okay, I'd be like, "Okay, what do you need? I hear you. I'm, support your kids where they're at. Don't try to fix them. Hear them. Just listen. Receive. Just let them know that you're there. You're there." It's almost that simple. And be real. Do your own work. Do your work before you try to figure out how to parent. Boundaries, your own personal boundaries also will reflect your boundaries. I always say dogs or pets, because I have a dog, golden retriever, and kids are a great way to learn boundaries. So my dog and my kids will push my boundaries and I go, oh, I have to catch it so I don't get angry, because that anger is old. That's from me not having boundaries in the past when I got pushed a lot. I really like that tool. My husband and I work on that. So we both come from a background of just taking too much. So we can get triggered. So we catch ourselves, and then we immediately, if we do get angry with our kids, we catch it and we say, sorry, we got pushed, and then we set the boundary. So I'm getting better and better at not getting pushed and being like, hey, here's what we're doing, da-da-da, and not beating around the bush with kids or pets, if that makes sense. Practice with kids and pets. Hey, you're going to bed at this time. Hey, it's time to clean up. And there's no pushing the boundary. Try to work on that. I still am. I still get pushed. But as I say that out loud with you, I'm thinking, okay, now next time it happens, I'm getting extra firm. Like, no is no, and feel okay with that. Because it's so easy to want to give in and give our kids the world, right? What else do I love about parenting? It's really doing your own work. It's almost that simple. Doing your own work, showing by example of how you feel, not what you say. How you feel, how you treat each other in your household or with others is what kids learn. And I do believe that's where bullying stems from. Kids are going to school with deregulated nervous systems and taking it out on each other. And this is just one area. I mean, I know each soul has their, like I said, their own personality, their own incarnation to work out what they need to. But man, if you're parents and we can regulate ourselves and teach our kids with clear boundaries, we can at least help guide them through whatever tests and trials and journey they're on to be the healthiest they can be, so they're not going to school and taking it out on others or bullying. And the kids that do get bullied, those parents to show, hey, have your no, or go get help, go get support. Because bullying is a big thing. You know, there's a lot of celebrities I've known that have committed suicide. Robin Williams is a good example. And his trauma, I always go to the root, goes back to being bullied and not getting the love of his mother. So he had a deregulated nervous system full of a lot of pain. And where was his outlet? Where did he get to say no? Where did he get to release that adrenaline? I'm so big into that because it changed my life. And if you're new to my channel or you're wanting to know more what I'm talking about, I have a free guide in the link below, and it gives you some tools you can start to do right away. I have an online program that's discounted from $9.97 to only $97 for a limited time, and it has every single thing in there that I do on people over 3 months. So it saves you a lot of money in therapy, or if you are in therapy, they're great tools you can bring up with your therapist to work on. And anyways, all my links will be below for any more tools you want. And please leave any comments. Let me know what examples or content you want me to make the next video on. And I hope that helped for today. Sending much love. See you in the next one. Bye for now.